here will be Dragonshire to start things off this time. And I'm right about it this time. It's actually really Dragonshire.
It is actually Dragonshire, not Infernal, not Sky Temple.
Have you noticed there was a change, G-Clef? I tried to talk to Ending about this a little bit yesterday, but he's you and I talk a lot about this. Have you noticed a change that all chins are visible in our map selection screen now?
Oh yes,
they changed it.
And they changed the sound effect too. And we can actually hear the Dragonshire map draft. We go in directly, straight in.
Okay. With Dragonshire as the map, you and I talked a lot about this before the broadcast began.
Exactly.
About how Thrall can sit in the off lane and because he's so sustainable, live through almost anything and control a shrine. It's almost impossible to kill him. And obviously for team fights, Sundering, with the change that happened a long time ago for it being uninterruptible, makes him such a powerful pick. But in our first series, he wasn't really used yesterday. It was only when Genji came out that he was perma-banned. Irel, we haven't seen this much priority for this hero just yet this weekend, coming out instead on the start here for Miracle.
It is just the snipe ban against Hanaton, and Hanaton will have some, from Hero League, from what I know personally, from a lot of them stream as well. And he just loves to play that Irel, not just on this map, on every single map basically. And just targeting downfield the heroes, so I think we live in a meta where we just used to ban all the DPS. Okay, that can't work if you have a similar matchup, but once you can dominate the other team, you can just snipe all the heroes that he can play well, and basically you will destroy the player even before you go into the actual game.
Here comes that hammer ban again, which leaves Whitemane and Thrall to be the big questions here, I think. Plus, you have to consider that with this Irel ban, Diablo's availability. Not the most popular pick on this map, but still very viable here for the 4-man rotation between mid and bot lane. So Feliz has to make a tough decision between these three heroes because one of them will go over to Miracle. Raynor as well.
Yeah, Raynor, I think, because if Sergeant Hammer is on the other side, Raynor has a very tough time actually engaging because Sergeant Hammer on that siege mode does have a longer range. Raynor has a hard time diving into the back line. She does not do the same amount of damage at the range. Makes it really tough. I think Miracle wanted that Raynor to be banned, or else they would love to take it. I think that's what's behind the Sergeant Hammer ban.
But the Thrall availability here for Dragonshire in particular is something that you and I have already highlighted, and it seems like Miracle's already one step ahead of the game here, taking the Whitemane away. After this, the Urel ban, like you said, it's somewhat of a target ban onto Hanaton, but because Miracle knows they have first pick, the threat of a Whitemane, Feliz doesn't know where Miracle's at in terms of that support right now. They feel more comfortable banning that, but that gives Miracle one of the strongest heroes in the game right now for initiation and shrine control.
And the best on the map, so Hanaton does go around, and they actually pick the Haka for anything else before he gets choked in that hero pool. Does have to pick it up, and they can't get a support because of that. They pick up a Hanzo as well.
And if Thrall does end up roaming to the top lane and doing battle with the Haka, or if the Haka is relegated to bottom lane in the 1v1, like Thrall will win that every time, no question, easily. It will be Blaze, that's the traditional solo laner though, to match up against the Haka, and Deckard will find his place here. So already in terms of tiers, you could feel that Hanaton's hero pool is pulling at Feliz. It's pulling them away from what's considered to be top meta right now. So they've got the Dahaka pick. It's a strong global. But Miracle has possibly the three strongest heroes in our meta right now. Yep. All available, all locked in.
Miracle's basically making Feliz look like the fool in this draft by focusing onto the solo lane Hanaton and grabbing everything for themselves. They can still have all the peel with Blaze, have a solo lane pretty easy. And you can basically pick up any DPS now. With the bunker, you will always be safe. The Haka, Hanaton, not the best. He's very passive on. So Miracle does have a very... they're very ahead in this draft, for sure.
They certainly are. And now the question becomes, support-wise, it's probably going to just have to be that Malfurion. But what comes with the Malfurion, what the tank will be, is what we don't yet know. And it is going to be the Garrosh. It's been heavily banned in third ban rotation yesterday. Because it is the most common one you want to bring out.
Yeah, the Genji Tempest one, especially.
Yeah. So they take double global here. It's going to be Fall Stand as the secondary DPS here. Leaving support for last. They're going to find out what Miracle's second DPS is and try to counter that. It will still very likely be that Malfurion. But Raynor's available. It's going to be the Li Ming instead. Li Ming having so much follow-up after a Sundering. Easy resets. And now you're concerned about the Malfurion pick because it's It's a lot of burst damage on the side of Miracle, and Malfurion does long, slow healing, but he doesn't have a way to protect someone who's about to get blown up.
May just be Stukov instead. Maybe Silence will pair up better with Garrosh in this case. And when Thrall just flanks him from side, Malfurion can't really do a thing. But we still do have it. Let's see if this actually becomes a problem. Liu, of course, a player who loves to play Malfurion even before Malfurion was like super high up in the meta. They were basically having Malfurion first pick all the time because he loved to play on it, but it is not the same one. No ice block.
Yeah, no ice block, and that's the big story of Malfurion's nerf. Some other tweaks did happen when he was changed, but the big one is the lack of ability to just avoid burst damage, avoid CC, position yourself in such a way to where you can still get tranquility value while being uncontested, knowing that you're invulnerable in that moment. And when the change was first announced, I was personally myself felt like it would impact the game negatively, but looking back on the impact that that change has made to the game, I think it makes Malfurion a riskier hero pick. And, you know, as a result, his priority has dropped significantly. And it's Deckard who really stands at the forefront, setting up these CCs, setting up fights. You know, he's his cube, and he's going to lock in the extra slow Sapphire, no doubt, here at level 1. This it's so good in this meta.
It is actually one of the broken talents at level 1. It's just so good, so consistent. You can provide so much CC along with everything else you get. But we'll talk about he does not go for the one that we actually talked about for the last minute. So that's a little.
Well, the other thing about his opponents in this case, I guess, is that Hanzo and Volstagg can both get away with an escape tool, so the slow isn't as impactful against those heroes, in particular the DPSs. So that could be one reason why he's gone into this seal instead.
Well, a lot of when Deckard just came out, it was the one to go, and after a while, basically a lot of them figured out that this was not the better one. Of course, for a longer fight, maybe you can do a little more in the team fight and have some more damage, but we'll see about this. How the slow actually does not affect too much.
Yeah. Look at this situation. Look at this heavy, deep invade onto Dudu. Does cross a line there and gets punished. Force them to use barrel roll back away. And now, you know, wave clear controlled by Miracle. They have the rotation advantage. As Volstagg's forced to clear this mid wave, that means they're going to have faster siege giants here. And they have, you know, just a slight lead all around because of this. Even though Feliz takes the experience lead because Dahaka went top faster, I think what Miracle was able to accomplish timing-wise gave them such a nice edge on the map. They could have, even with a different comp, invaded because of this, but against Garrosh, you don't want to take the risk.
And with leaving Thrall, of course, you can have somewhat of a fast clear time, but not as fast as Greymane or Hanzo post 4 or 7. So they will start. The reason why they started the macro earlier because they know they're going to fall apart pre-10.
Okay, Judy looking for this initiation. Siege Giants tank that hit big time, or Aimer might have been out of luck. That might have been just enough damage to kill him. But still, Miracle trades up. This is easily going to be their shrine taken. And they have to be careful, Feliz does, about that roaming Thrall every time. Just so difficult to actually try to challenge against Sniper right now.
Volstagg is looking for a chance. Join into the bottom, but gets almost sniped.
He's body blocked.
I think he used the roll already to avoid Judy, but never mind. He actually did not go over the wall. I saw him moving on the minimap, so I thought he actually went over the wall, but no.
I think he may have been stunned by... I'd have to go back and watch. He may have been stunned by Stormbolt while he was trying to roll. Because it looked like he was going to get over the wall, but he didn't.
And
so
it goes on cooldown, so...
Yeah.
I think he just got caught by that more than rotation, which he should have known. Coming up, you were basically missing that dwarf on the middle tri-bush. It was basically a given spot. I know, Dudu, you want to kind of make your own story by rotating down and taking the shrine, but unless the Haka is taking the top one as well, you can't really make too much out of it.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing you could have hoped for is maybe to just try to prevent a channel, but doesn't work out at the end of the day. So channel does actually activate here for Feliz. They're going to look for the Unleash mid, and because of this camp, you know, there was a very small window where that could have worked out. We're going to see the flight up here. They're going to look for the gank on the Nitrogen. There's a drag. This actually could be a pick. Dudu could body block here.
Applejack propulsion.
Oh, the
just
potion!
In time.
And he's
Blue Beetle
turning!
Saves, and the turret damage is insane. Pulse stats are gone. Hanaton does have the Brush Stalker, so we'll get away, but that was a free chicken up there.
That's right. They converted that gank into their kill. I've got a 2-0 lead now, and it was a really nice play by Nitrogen, instantly turning around. And it's just the power of the potion. It really, really is, as Blue Beetle makes the play, makes the save, gets the root there, forces the burrow. And Miracle takes 7 first. They will get another channel here as Li Ming's heading down to the Moon Shrine. Blue Beetle just kind of lurking around right now as Feliz is trying to hide positioning so they could maybe collapse in and take the Shrine back, but Miracle's just not falling for this bluff.
And even with that double global, you end up using everything for a rotation that fails. Think about the emotional feeling that happens right after. What the heck do we do then? Everything's failing. Well, of course, this time it seems like they're going to get a kill, even though there's a rotation from Deckard and Thrall. It's way too late. They give up. They rather just soak EXP onto the other lane. Nitrogen does overextend this time, but last time it really failed big time.
The minions here do a lot of damage in that moment, and had Miracle, instead of trying to save Hanaton, or excuse me, not Hanaton, their top laner here. Nitrogen in this case, yeah. Instead of trying to save Hanaton, if they had pushed mid, I think they would have even got this bigger advantage out of it, but we see so many top lane big rotations in this meta, especially when you're running double global. It's easy to do that. And they make a big play. They use their draft correctly. They've caught up in experience now. And they will have a channel here, but there's no opportunity to unleash. Forcing Miracle to roam around mid, though, to prevent that unleash means that their camp is started a little bit late. And this could be an invade opportunity for Feliz, but it looks like they just want to play it safer. OJ does position himself. This is kind of a noblesse invade here.
And he goes in.
Tosses, looking for the steal. And you know what? This is a lot of damage to do, but I think they still steal it.
This is not bad. Blaze is way too far away. 5v4 at the moment. Judy actually third tosses away, so they steal it away from Miracle. Too late of a rotation from Nitrogen as he had an extra wave to clear up there, but still, fight goes on.
Yep. Gonna actually look to re-engage here. Judy is very, very low. OJ's got the armor, so he's totally fine here. Does actually accidentally Q backwards there.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, that's what happens if you QE way too fast. You think you get a grab on the target, but sometimes you don't, and that's what happens.
Yeah, everyone's experienced that. But this is leading into Feliz. I mean, after that camp steal and the fight win, led to another channel, the double global here. Miracle's soaking a little bit better. They actually split Deckard mid, so, you know, Blue Beetle is able to get a little bit of extra soak. This is an opportunity with the burst damage from Li Ming. OJ gonna have to back off.
Still, Garrosh pairs are really well moved now. Korean, unless they do have the burst damage one. Once he survives that burst damage from Li Ming, he can actually take a lot. And Liu, so far, pre-10, we're talking about pre-10, so he doesn't really have to worry about the sundering from the flank, and even Li Ming doing more damage. So OJ, he still does survive, and that was actually the reason why they had the confidence to go in and steal that camp away.
It's really interesting we see that Lornado come through here in this composition particularly, rather than Stay a While and Listen, because there's so much CC that works well with Stay a While and Listen, but they're more interested in camp invades, controlling the map, rather than actually looking for big wipes. Hanaton's going to rotate down here, but everyone on Miracle's side sees us so quickly, and that queued Falstad flight was definitely should have been canceled, let's say. It ended up being very wasted. Now top lane is going to feel the pressure, going to feel that both globals use their mobility, so he gets a lot of push done up there.
Maybe they just thought there will be a big team fight at post 10. Maybe it's their first time to actually have the big clash 5v5. That didn't really happen. Way too late of a join. A Miracle. You mentioned Stay a While and Listen, and that's actually the reason why you pick up Li Ming. Once sleeping, perfect time to just basically looking for a target that's staying in one target. Great cleanse there. That
was a huge cleanse onto Aimer. Like, he got hit by the Haymaker, which was split second locked in. So he was hiding it the entire time, locked in, looked for the pick. And the Sundering did not affect Aimer in that moment either because of that cleanse coming out from Malfurion. So both saves here onto Aimer, and he walks away unscathed. They're still looking to try to trade up on OJ. And that's one of the powers of Thrall, is that sustainability here. Sniper can both clear the wave and then come down and do some damage.
Let's see if that hurts Judy. We know the damage from Feliz is not based on percent damage too much, so maybe it is a better choice when they need more DPS to pick up the kill even potentially, but...
Look at Frankel. Okay, looking for the aimer shot there, just barely does not connect. But yeah, I kind of like what you're saying here. It's not really a situation where you're going to feel like, okay, they're bursting me down against Feliz's comp where you need that avatar. I think it would still be better in most cases, but in this one case, they locked in the Haymaker, but it doesn't work, so Feliz feels really good about that cleanse. Whatever Malfurion's cleanse is, he's like, I'm Cleanse Leaf at level 7. He's like, all cleanses are unique.
Still have cleanse?
All cleanses are unique, okay?
Oh, there goes one. Roll. Falstad actually has a Gust as well, so Judy might be trapped in
he is. Good call there, G-Cluff. He's stuck, man. He has to Haymaker to get out. It'd be nice to have Avatar in this situation.
Okay, he does not need an Avatar, so that was okay, but lost 2 members already. Maybe he could have took the damage instead if he had Avatar. We'll see about that. A little longer so far. Feliz actually making this global rotation work. So.
Yeah, this time it really does work, like you said, and you know, talk about the Haymaker pick all we want, but they're finally really starting to use this draft to full potential. And it's important to note that the burst, they used it on Thrall. It takes him some time to, you know, get his self-heals off and sustain. And he couldn't Sunder in that fight. He was killed so quickly that he couldn't have a meaningful Sunder. We see a lot of Thrall's bait fights like this, then Sunder to turn it. But in this case, he was dead so fast that he just couldn't do anything meaningful. And so good play here by Feliz. They're actually taking a pretty significant lead now.
This fight is pretty strong as Judy.
No Avatar still.
Oh, let's get taunts right after. Silence, isolation, so he is there. Lornado with the Sundering. Maybe he will. There's the arrow, and Judy goes so low, but Dwarf tosses away just in time.
He's like, I don't need that Avatar. What are you talking about? Blue Beetle's going to need something. He's dead. And they're just going to look for the chase here. Pan up faster, Observer. Nitrogen's out. He got the really nice oil slick there and is going to be able to mount away. But this should be the first Dragon Knight Unleash of the game, as Judy just can't realistically delay this any further. It was a really well-timed arrow from Aimer. That's really what led that fight to be so disastrous for Miracle. He waited until the fight was set up in such a way to where Miracle had used all their mobility, and it was just basically him saying, okay, you thought you were good now, but the arrow comes through. Yep. He also backed off to make sure it had longer stun as well.
And Feliz is actually, compared to how bad they were actually using their global in phase 1, they're actually forcing all the rotation for Miracle to stay down and just having Blaze up top the entire time. He never joined into the actual team fight. When he joined, the team fight was already over.
Yeah.
Feliz just understanding the rotation, having a wave clear, and actually using their global to catch members. Aimer
actually should be able to get out of this fight. He baited them so hard. And Haymaker has to be used here. Like, Aimer is playing the game of his life right now. I mean, honestly, this Hanzo play is... He's never really been known for his Hanzo, but actually in this particular map, he is making impactful plays. Even just feigning being out of position, then using that agility to jump over the wall there actually makes such a big impact. It forced a huge rotation of Miracle down, which meant that the Dragon Knight was doing more free damage top. So Feliz is almost playing ping pong with Miracle right now. Miracle's the ball, and Feliz as Hanzo and the Dragon Knight as the paddles. Very well played.
And most of Miracle's strength actually comes out from Nitrogen. And just sitting top lane, all the counter shot we saw from Nitrogen was one, a save from Deckard. That was his super early game. And the second one, him going down. That was basically it. We never really got to see him because he's always stuck up there.
Yeah, someone's got to be on cleanup duty when you have 2 globals, and that means that the fact that, let's be honest, the strongest heroic in the game right now is Bunker. And if he can't be there to use it, then it doesn't matter that you picked Blaze. You'd almost just rather have almost any other top laner up there. You'd rather have a Sonya in this case than a Blaze if it's just going to be on cleanup duty the whole game.
Or Nova. anything, or Gaslo. At least Gaslo will push at least a little more than that.
Yeah. So he's going to have to hope to find a way to... Honestly, Miracle's probably going to have to play around him a little bit harder, because if he's just up there solo and Feliz does these double global gank rotations and he can't bunker, it's just, you know, unfortunate. So playing around the Blaze very well here. I almost just called him Bunker again, and I was like, what's his name? Like, he's basically just a bunker.
OJ comes around, this fort is basically dead, so they can just push it.
Oh, easily. Look at the arrow.
Arrow, perfect taunt onto Decker. He's gone, and second one will be getting caught as well. Sniper does manage to go off, but... Oh, Leeming actually gets a snipe from the side. That's so nicely done.
Yeah, that was really well played by Frankel, so at least he limits the effectiveness of this again. But they just didn't have vision of where Garrosh was. So OJ just comes in there and makes this play happen. That was really cool, too. What he was trying to do was actually toss into the arrow. It missed, but it was like so close. And, you know, that was a brilliant play just conceptually, like something they've been practicing. So I love to see stuff like that. They obviously won the fight, but it could have been even better.
The camera on Nacho didn't finally, but this top shrine has been going to Feliz so many times, and we are going towards that late game.
Yeah, this is going to be the second Dragon Knight, you know? There's just nothing that Miracle can do. In fact, I want to give it to Aimer here, which is smart because if, you know, when he pops out, if he's side laning with the Dragon Knight, he can still be impactful with his arrow. And that's very likely what will happen once this mid fork goes down.
And they're not really risking it to go to the bottom at the keep. Bottom wave is actually a little better for him.
Look at Hanaten flanking. Nachogen may be caught. Okay,
oh, Leo right in the middle. Target is Malfurion for now. Gust to isolate. Sundering does actually not pair up. Great Gust there by Falstad.
Yeah, that Falstad Gust really limited what the Sundering was able to do, or just prevented it basically from doing anything, I should say. And the DPSs here on the side of Feliz, Dudu and Aimer are really just making these big impactful plays with their heroics. And, you know, we talked about how Miracle's comp is actually way more meta. It's way more top tier. It's the much more standard comp. It looks like the Gen G comp, you would say, almost. But they're just not able to deal with these double globals. Feliz is running around circles on them. And like you said, Blaze is just on cleanup doing the top lane. We never get to see him. 20's just around the corner here. They don't get a keep, so Miracle has a good opportunity, a good window to come back into this game, but 20 is going to be against them for the rest of that time.
Yeah, Miracle certainly has a strategy where they want to focus on the backline Hanzo or Malfurion, just take them out with the Haymaker and focus on one target, get a reset. Leeming just cleans up. That's what they want, but let's see if that happens. Great taunt at the Isolation Gust with the arrow, and you're into choke point with those piercing arrows. You're
Look at the Falstad Q too! Like Dudu's Falstad Q, he boomeranged it at the perfect time. Miracle's done, man. They gotta get out of here. Imagine if the Groundbreaker hit, actually, because that almost hit everybody too. Like, Jesus, this is like unparalleled coordination from our 7th place team here. Duty looking for the engage here. Sundering goes off. Maybe an overextension here for Feliz, even though they just got 20. They can't win this fight. Tranquility is not going to be enough here to save everybody. Look at that root. Ryu is dead. No ice block here. They did everything they needed to win those trades, but they didn't get any kills. Then they themselves made the same mistake their opponents did. Walked into a choke point with no heroics because all their heroics had just been used. And, you know, I think the proper Twitch emote for this situation is jebaited, but that's what happened, man.
Or not like this, as they basically had nothing but the Gust at the moment, go all the way in when Bunker's there, Sundering's there, everything was available for Miracle. And one Bunker that we see in game turns everything around. Feliz still has a lead, but once Miracle hits 20, well, Feliz, unless they super macro this game out, because they still have the advantage, but there are no keeps down to their side.
The forts are going to get Miracle the 20 plus the kill experience, but yeah, they have this buffer, at least, in these forts, so Miracle can't really gain anything from this team fight win, as suddenly we do get to see the Falstad first-person view here. But it's crazy to see how much of an impact a team fight can make in the late game versus in how little it can make, of an impact it can make when there's forts up. Because like Miracle couldn't even get the Dragon Knight immediately because it wasn't up, and there's a tiny window. I think they're just barely going to get it. If that Dragon Knight spawns like 10 seconds later, then actually they get nothing but a mid fort off of a team wipe at 18 minutes into the game. Again, that buffer still exists with these forts, so you know, it's almost questionable, in fact, that they're going bot with this instead of mid, because experience doesn't matter as much at this stage.
I think it's also because their own bot lane is quite damaged onto the wall. They just want to release that opposite pressure that will eventually happen if Feliz chooses to push that bottom lane. So they want to make the opposite happen.
Yeah, I like what you're saying about that. Makes a lot of sense when you think about it that way.
And if you go top, it's just way longer of a rotation you do have to make later on. So I think they have the right choice here, as they would like to do at least a little damage to the keep, though.
Well, because Hanzo took the stun at 20 instead of taking play of the game, they don't actually have that extra mobility with him.
They already have 2 globals, but third global would have been nice too.
Yeah, I think could have been really nice for them, but stun does hit Franco, but it's not going to stop them from taking out this keep. So first keep of the game goes to Miracle. It's crazy to me, and you and I talked about this a lot in part 1 of Phase 2, but we live in a world to where like Miracle's late game is better than their early game now. Yes. Like that's so weird to me to watch this team evolve in this new meta. Gonna take the neutral nightcap. It's again such a rare case to see a team wipe into only a keep in this stage of the game, and I think Miracle wishes they could have ended. They wish they could be further ahead, but they lost the early game. But it's now their control of the map. Globals can only get you so far.
Yep, and they do really have to push the top lane all the way into the keep wall, at least into the keep. That's the reason why we see Tehaka, but Hanaton is really bad at pushing. He's really just soaking the top lane, being super safe, because they have less information about the rotation all the time. It is not like Sign, where he just stands on the tri-bush, try to get as many information about the rotation of the other team. And Feliz does not act the same on the rotation, getting the information.
That's a really good point. Like, I actually like what you're saying, because when you think about the main tank they have too, it's Garrosh who has no escape, so he can't just be getting information, he can't just be checking, because if he gets caught in a bush alone, he's dead. If you've got like a Muradin or an ETC even, or hell, even a Johanna, you can do that. But specifically with what Feliz has, yeah, it's like insanely risky to make a choice like that. They're going to just take out this top 4. It's going to give them a level advantage, which actually is quite significant. But
yeah, for that last minute and 10-20 seconds, Hanaton was up there just soaking a little bit. Notice how he wasn't pushing anything. He's just around with his teammates. So the value of Tehaka, as I pointed out in the draft, as he does not really extend the line, because he has felt that when he first came into HGC. Okay, I'm overextending too much. Better safe than sorry. Let's just try to have safe Tehaka plays, but he's actually not pushing, not getting the value for the team.
Yeah, and
he needs to go above the level, I think. It's about time.
He's up there right now, just kind of sitting there, again, for the risks you described. As Feliz is just looking to force a fight here with the element of surprise. No longer confident to use double globals to look for a hard engage. And until you know, the bot pressure mounts up and pushes them back to deal with that so they can save their core, they can play like this. But Miracle already realized what they're doing, and because Miracle has keep advantage, they can also just sit in the bush and say, your move, Feliz, because eventually you're going to have to go deal with those catapults. Even with the globals, it makes such a difference, and now you see that they are forced to rotate bottom. Miracle, in this one moment, take control of the shrine. Hanaton comes over here, they have to. And that was such a close moment. Like, just because of the catapults alone, Miracle almost got the game-winning Dragon Knight. And Feliz is going to feel that pressure until they get themselves their own keep. And I don't know how that's going to happen, minus a big rotation with a burrow and a flight.
I do like this from Feliz, though. They're setting up for the bottom wave, as they want to do more damage to the wall. OJ throws Nitrogen, not the right target you want to go for. No CC's connect. Great job by Feliz, just disengaging. OJ almost threw the game along with that throw.
Yeah, that would have been lights out for sure. So Hanaton just going back up top lane, and he is going to take the shrine. But you know what? Actually, there's no one mid. I think they might just be able to get this in time. I think they might get it.
It's going to be super close, and Tehaka was stepping on that right before the channel. Yeah. I think that was just in time, barely.
I think if Nitrogen channeled instead, like, I think they might have actually gotten that, but close call. And Hanaton is doing his job well. I mean, obviously he's low impact in this case because of, you know, the stuff we've been saying over and over and over again. I'm not going to repeat it again, but to the lack of vision, etc. He is at least preventing Miracle from getting these Dragon Knights, then trying to force Miracle to rotate up, then take a fight defensively. But it's the bot lane that's the problem. Epic Mount's going to make it a little bit easier for them to kind of clean up and deal with what Miracle has, mounted up that pressure in the bot lane, even the Siege Giants now.
So let's see how they rotate their resources. Falstad moving down. All they have to do is buy some time here. A few more seconds. This dude is already on the shrine.
Okay. Judy caught here. Sundering is available. This could be the moment. Lornado, great disengaging Gust.
Got the contagion.
Oh, the arrow!
The arrow lands, but no follow-up damage.
The double stun right after.
Drags,
well done.
Great taunt, but let's see the damage. Damage does not follow up. Bunker saves all of them. They want to continue. Blue Beetle just sustaining. Great job by all the teammates, just having the safety back tool. No
OJ!
crazy kill, but it's going to be the one, of course.
That may just be Dragon Knight, because look at the bot lane. Like, I don't know if anyone could stop them from channeling it. It's probably going to have to be Aimer, right? Dudu is...
They do have double global, so that does go up, even with the Haka. That's a little questioning.
Oh, there's the hit.
As they may lose more members.
Okay, now they have to get out of here somehow. Dudu doesn't have flight. He needs the barrel roll. The Lornado's trapping him. He can't get out of here. Down he goes. That is going to be a lost fight for Feliz. It's probably going to cost him the game. Hanaten on the shrine. No way out. He's caught. Look at the follow-up there. Root onto Malfurion. And that is going to be game over. A 25.5-minute game here that Feliz will lose. Dragon Knight not required, as the minions do mount up here. They had to take a fight. Wasn't going to work. Aimer sadly does get taken out at the end. Aimer hitting so many impactful stuns there, making me squeal like a girl when he got the follow-up stun there on the after the arrow hit. The double stun. Like that arrow, the sonic arrow is so small. To get so many consistent double stuns with that is just, that's impressive, man.
It's really hard to get double stun. That bullseye, the range is actually quite small. Didn't really see that double stun coming through too many times, but there's a number. I think Feliz really had great CC change, which we didn't really see from them too much. But if they have the focusing as well, like let's say the Haka grabs up to 1, and then there's that, not the isolation from the Haka, but isolation with the Mighty Gust. I think that could have been a thing, which I was thinking about it, but never really came through due to joining the fight a little late, sometimes hurt them. But overall, that was not a bad game for Feliz, though. Yeah,
they really controlled the early game very well. And I think Aimer had an amazing game on the Hanzo. You could see in his hero damage just how much consistent damage output he was able to put in the entire game. 30k more than Franco on Lei Ming. I mean, miles ahead of everybody else. Just really making a lot of big impacts, having those nice rotations, baiting out the aggro in the bot lane, for example, that we saw in the mid game. So Hanzo, a scary pick here for Feliz. With the more meta comp and the better execution of the macro game after that keep went to